Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman, and today we're going to learn how to play the traditional song Down by the Bay. Down by the Bay is a fun and kind of a silly song. It's perfect for around a campfire at night or long road trips. To sing it for you today, I've invited in my friends Scuba and Princess. Hi guys.
Hey, Mr. Hoffman.
Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks for inviting us. Yeah.
Are you two ready to sing?
You bet.
Hey, did I hear there's going to be some singing?
That's right. Would you like to join us? That's okay, isn't it, Mr. Hoffman?
Of course it's okay. We'd love to have you join us, Chef.
Oh boy, I love this song.
Okay, here we go.
Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, take it, Chef.
Did you ever see a goose kissing a moose down by the bay?
Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a llama wearing pink pajamas down by the bay?
So, one thing that's fun to do is to keep singing the song over and over, and people take turns making up different did you evers for the end of the song. And the trick is to try and think of something that rhymes.
Like, did you ever see a goat sailing on a boat? Or how about, did you ever see a flea dancing on a tree?
Exactly. So, everyone sings the main part of the song, and then when you get to the end, someone takes a turn doing a solo and improvises a silly did you ever. Then everyone finishes up with
Down by the bay.
Nice. Thanks for singing with me, everyone.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. We had a great time. Bye. Bye.
See you later. And now it's time to check out the score. Here's the sheet music for Down by the Bay. You'll notice this time it's in lead sheet style. We just have the treble clef part and the melody line. The left-hand part, which we'll learn in a later lesson, is going to be improvised using these chord symbols. Now let's check out the key signature for Down by the Bay. We have two flats. Now whenever you see flats in the key signature, we'll refer to our ladder of fourths. From the ladder of fourths, we can see that we'll be in the key of B flat major or possibly G minor. So we'll want to look at the first note of the song, which is an F, and the last note, which is a B, or because of the key signature, B flat. Since we end on a B flat, we can tell that we're in the key of B flat major. Now let's check out our time signature and tempo indication. We're in 4/4 time. And the tempo indication says relaxed swing. Now, we're used to seeing words like largo or allegretto or allegro up here, Italian words, but sometimes in popular songs, we use more casual English phrases like relaxed swing. So this song should be played relaxed, and when you see the word swing in the tempo indication, that's a composer's way of saying to swing the eighth notes. Remember that usually when we see eighth notes, we perform them like this. T, 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 T. That's called straight eighth notes, where every eighth note has an equal amount of time. But when you see the word swing, the first of a group of 2 eighth notes will be a little bit longer, and the second one will be a little bit shorter, like this. Do, be, do, be, do, be. And that's a more popular and sometimes jazzy style. So this, instead of where the watermelons grow, will be where the watermelons grow. T, 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 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try the rhythm together. We're going to count out loud, notice that on beat 1 we have a rest. The first tap will be on beat 2. So we'll tap the rhythm while we count it out loud. Can you count the beat with me out loud while you tap the rhythm? I'll count 4 beats to get us started, and then we'll start here on beat 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, let's pause for a moment. Do you remember what kind of rest this is? This is a half rest. Remember, if that black rectangle sits on top of the line, which kind of makes it look like a hat, like so. See how it's kind of like a hat? Hat sounds like half, and a half rest gets 2 beats. So we have beat 1, 2, and then this quarter rest gets 1 more beat. So we have 3 beats of silence there. 1, 2, 3. Ti, 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 ta. Remember, these are not straight. Straight would be ti, 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 ta. But we're 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try this line together. Now get ready to tap and count with me. Here come the rest. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. Ti, ti, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now check out this line. We have a quarter note, half note, quarter note. How many beats for a half note? If you said 2, you're correct. So let's tap this rhythm. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now here we have a first and second ending. Do you remember what to do with those? When you see a first ending, the first time you get to it, you're allowed to go inside here. So you go into the first ending, and then there's a repeat sign, which takes you back to the start of the song, or if you see another forward-facing repeat sign, it takes you there. So in this case, because we have this forward-facing repeat sign, we're going to jump all the way back, and then we do another verse. And then the second time, we're not allowed to go back into the first ending. We skip directly to the second ending to finish the song. Let's come to the piano to learn how to play it. Now, since we're in the key of B flat, one thing I like to do when I'm learning a new piece in a certain key is warm up by playing that scale. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video and play your 2-octave scale in B flat major, just so your right hand is kind of familiar where those black keys are. Remember, B and E are the 2 keys that become B flat. Starting with the finger 4, play through that B flat major scale. Press pause to play through the B flat major scale, then press play to go on. Now, let's figure out where our right hand is going to begin. Looking at the first note and the finger number over that note, can you figure out where to place your right hand? Go ahead and place your right hand where you think it belongs on your piano. On my piano, here's my middle C, and I can see that we're starting on an F, so I take finger 1 of the right hand and I'm placing it on that F. Now, my other fingers will just find a comfortable spot, but since I know that B's are B flat, I'm going to go ahead and get my finger 4 ready on B flat. Now, you know so much about reading notes and rhythms that I'm going to let you figure out how to play Down by the Bay, the first 2 lines completely on your own. Press pause and try and read the notes carefully. You know what this song should sound like, so let your eye and your ear guide you and figure out the first 2 lines on your own, then press play and we'll try it together. Here's what you should have figured out. We have a rest on beat 1, and then we start. 1, down by the bay, 2, 3, 4, rest. Where the watermelons grow, 2, 3, 4, rest. Back to my home, 2, 2, 3, 4, rest. I dare not go, 2, 3, 4, rest. Now don't forget how important rhythm is as you're learning a piece. All those whole notes you have to hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. And on that rest, be sure to lift your hand so we enjoy that moment of silence. Now, if you need extra practice on those 2 lines, or if there's anything you need to fix about your own playing, press pause now and take care of that. Otherwise, let's keep going to line 3. What note do we begin on here in this next measure? If you said B or B flat, you are correct. We know from the key signature that anytime you see a B, it has to become a B flat. Then it steps down to A, and then you'll notice that there is a flat placed in front of this next note, which also is an A. So now we need to go to A flat with finger 2. So one at a time, we have a B flat, steps down to A, and then that becomes A flat, and we'll use fingers 4, 3, 2, and then finger 1 will play that G. You'll notice all of those 4 notes are a half step apart. So we call that the chromatic scale when we go down by half steps. We're just going down the chromatic scale. Try that with me. Place your finger 4 on B flat, step down to A with finger 3, A flat with finger 2, and then G with finger 1. Now a little faster. Go. Kind of sounds cool. Rest. For if I do. And then let's keep going. We have a rest. My mother will say. This time our fingers go back to this original position on F, G, A, B. My mother will say. Good. Now press pause and work on that line on your own. It will sound like this. For if I do, 2, 3, 4, rest. My mother will say 2, 3, 4. Press pause and work on that line on your own, then press play to go on. Now in the next measure, you'll see we have 3 beats of rest. 1, 2, 3. Then our finger 4 is on B flat, and then our finger 1, just like we're playing a scale, our finger 1 needs to glide under to C. But then instead of using a 2 on D, like you might be used to doing for the scale, you're going to use a 3. And here's why. Right after that D, we have to play a C sharp. Forever. So watch this again. We have did, finger 4 plays B flat, finger 1 plays C, then finger 3 plays D, then 2 on C sharp. Did you ever? Now just take those 4 notes. Did you ever? And very slowly make sure you've got the fingering correct and the notes correct. Press pause to work on those 4 notes on your own, then press play to go on. Now after did you ever, then we have a D. Now this next note looks like a C. But remember, one of the rules in music is when you place a sharp in front of a note in the staff, like this C sharp, every other C on that same line or space also gets sharped until you get to the bar line at the end of that measure. So when we get to ever C, when we get to this C, it's also sharped. Even though it's not marked, that sharp automatically carries through to goose. Ever see a goose? So watch that whole phrase. Did you ever see a goose? Now you try. Good. And then the next measure also has D, C sharp, D. Now it looks like a C, but how should we play it? We should play it as a C sharp because the sharp is still active until we get to the end of the measure. So kissing a moose. Now you try. Now let's put those 2 phrases together. We have, did you ever see a goose rest, kissing a moose? Now you try. Good. Make sure you're starting with finger 4 on that B flat, and that's because if you remember from the line before, that's where your hand will be when you get to this line. Did you ever see a goose kissing a moose. Try it one more time and be sure to start on your finger 4. Don't forget that to get your thumb under, you want to turn your hand a little bit sideways and let that thumb just gently glide under. Did you ever see a goose kissing a moose? Rest. Now, looking at the last line, we have a step up to E, which you'll remember from the key of B flat has to be E flat, step down. Now, normally you might want to use a finger 2 there, but because we need to cross over a second later, we're going to use finger 1, so finger 4 can come back to that B flat. So we'll have 4 on E flat, step down to D with finger 3, step down to C with finger 1, cross over finger 4. So down by the bay. Now you try. Be sure to start with a finger 4 on E flat. Good. Now one more time together. Start with finger 4 on E flat. Down by finger 1, the bay, down by. And then it goes right back to another verse. Right after you get to down by the bay, down by. That's why you have to cross over with the 4 so you're ready for that down by the. And then it repeats back to the top of the page for another verse. And you can repeat that as many times as you want for as many verses to give everyone a turn to do the did you ever part. And then when it's the last time, when you're ready to finish the song, you'll just take the second ending, down by the bay, and then you're done. Now, press pause and work on the entire verse from the beginning to the end. Work on it on your own. Be careful of fingerings, and be sure to swing those 8th notes. Listen to that straight, where the watermelons grow. That would be straight 8th notes, but swing is where the watermelons grow. Press pause and work on the entire verse on your own, then press play to go on. Great work learning the right-hand part for Down by the Bay. Happy practicing, and see you next time.
Did you ever see a note floating in a boat?
Did you ever see a rest wearing a vest?
Did you ever see a piano? What rhymes with piano? Down by the bay.
Piano. What rhymes with piano? Plano? Bablano?
I know. Did you ever see a piano eating a banana? That works, doesn't it?
Giano? Calawano? No.